Welcome into a brand new hour of CBS Sports HQ presented by Canva. Love your work. We are starting 4 wide today because we have primetime football to talk about. I'm Jacqueline D'Agostino, Chris Hassel, Kyle Long, Leger Douzable. Typically when we're talking about primetime NFL games, Leger and I are on the same vibes. We're on the same wavelength, but our alma maters are going head-to-head this weekend.
Big one this week.
Yes.
So I don't know, Leger. We're going to have to lock in and get on the same page here.
You see at Florida in the swamp.
To me, again, I think the best thing that could have happened, and I hate to say this, is that we got boat raced by Colorado. Because if we had beat Colorado and lost to Florida, to me, the season's over. Like, when you lose to Florida, the season's over. So I think the boys will be highly motivated this week after getting embarrassed on national TV last
I didn't want you to get on your soapbox and give a hype piece for the Knights, Leger. We got to talk about primetime football.
That is prime time.
Okay, go
the
Gators.
Florida rivalry.
Go Gators.
Thursday night college football games tonight while we're at it. We're here to break down the NFL game tonight because it is a big one in the NFC South. It's the Bucs who are in first place right now, going to Atlanta to face Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. It is our primetime game tonight in the National Football League, our segment presented by Canva. It's the third primetime game already for the Falcons. And Kyle, even in their wins, it just doesn't seem like Atlanta is the marquee team that a lot of people expected. A lot of TV networks expected playing in these primetime games. What have they been missing so far?
I think they're not on the same page. And when you look at the roster that they have, the talent they have on the offensive side of the ball, they haven't fully clicked yet on offense. And I heard Drake London talk about this. We're really close as an offense to clicking. When I watch Kyle Pitts, I feel like we just oversold that guy so much. They're going to have to find production and value in the other guys in that offense. And I think about that offensive line. They're built to run the football. 2 of their guys went down with lower leg injuries in the last 2 weeks. So we're going to be looking at a unit that is without full power. You're going to have to see Kirk Cousins make some plays. And against the Buccaneers, this is where it's going to start, the division rivalry.
To me, Kyle, what's their identity? Like you alluded to it, we've always known the Atlanta Falcons to be a gritty offensive line that can run the football. And to me, I think there is a disconnect in regards to their run game and matching up with the play-action pass game. Zach Robinson is coming from Sean McVay, and that's what Sean McVay and Kevin O'Connell do really well. They marriage that run game and play-action pass. Well, they haven't been able to do that for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, people wondered in the beginning of the year in that opening game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, was Kirk Cousins healthy? Didn't look healthy. He took a lot of shotgun snaps out of the pistol formation. He's been under center a lot more. Last week, though, Kyle, just too many shotgun. They were in shotgun way too often last week. Now, it hurts you when you're in 2nd and 10 and 3rd and 10. It's hard to really, have defense trust that you're going to run the ball in those scenarios. But they only had 15 rush attempts last week. Like, Tyler Allgeier's averaged 7.5 yards a carry. Run the dang on football. Take some pressure off of Kirk Cousins. He's coming off an Achilles injury, so they need to marriage that run game with the play-action pass. And we also seen Kirk Cousins just hasn't been as efficient as he was those first 8 games of the season before the Achilles injury last year. So if he can start to be more efficient, if they can run the ball, marry that run game and play-action pass game, I think the Atlanta Falcons will start looking better on offense.
I like what you said about the gun versus center, because when you're under center, those linebackers, they have to play a lot faster. They have to attack downhill. That sets up that second level void of the defense. So it should be the marriage between run and pass.
So maybe the Falcons don't really know their true identity, but it feels like we know who the Bucs are. Baker Mayfield looks really, really good. Revitalized his career going to Tampa Bay. He actually leads the NFL in passing touchdowns over his last 12 starts. Leger, what are your expectations? Because we know it is a division game. Things can get a little crazy and get wonky,
Well, when you look at it, I think that I've really loved is that offensive coordinator Liam Cohen has gotten the best out of Baker Mayfield. I know that was a big question with Dave Canales leaving and going to the Carolina Panthers is what Baker Mayfield will we see? He's been so efficient, and they've had some deficiencies with Luke Gedeke on the outside being hurt, right? They've brought in Justin School. He struggled at right tackle. So Liam Cohen said, we're not going to keep the ball in your hands that long, Baker Mayfield. A lot of quick passes, a lot of screens. We're going to move Chris Godwin around, and Baker Mayfield has been ultra efficient with the football, not turning it over, knowing where to go with the football. So I think that's been the big thing for Baker Mayfield is him and his connection with the offensive coordinator. You worry about that with a first-time offensive coordinator coming in, learning a new system, how that would work with the quarterback. It's worked really well for the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Cohen's been great. It's been great for the confidence of Baker Mayfield in that offense, and they do have an identity. We're going to follow our true leader, Baker Mayfield, to wherever the hell he wants to take us. And for this Bucs team, they just haven't been getting after the passer very much. So when I think about Baker Mayfield, the issues stem from when he holds onto the football too long. He's going to have a little bit of that luxury against the Falcons.
Yeah.
This is a monstrous game in the division, and when you look at it from a Falcons perspective, they were the favorites coming into the season, and if they lose this game at home, they'll be 2 games back. They'll still have to go to Tampa. You know, we throw around must win way too much and way too early, but how important is this in the division, Leger?
This is a real big game, and when you look at it, they are undefeated in regards to the NFC South because they just beat the New Orleans Saints. But you talked about if they lose this game to Tampa Bay, they're going to be 2 games behind. Like that's a steep hill to climb, especially you alluded to it, they have to travel to Tampa Bay the next game. So I know there's this connotation with Kirk Cochains and primetime games, but he's actually been a lot better in recent years. And if not for Bijan Robinson being stuffed on 4th and 1 versus the Kansas City Chiefs, he's 2-0 in primetime games this year. So this is a massive game for both teams, but more specifically the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, it's such a big game. Divisional rivalry, they're all big games. And to your point, you get down 2 to these guys in division, and you got to go on a real hot streak. So you got to get it while the getting's good. And right now, in a division rivalry, get your win when you can.
Let's get into impact players for each team, starting with the Bucs. Kyle, who's the impact player for you there?
For me, it's going to be Levante David. And obviously, the line of scrimmage you're going to have covered. But Levante David is going to have his work cut out for him, covering the middle of the field. We obviously know they want to marry that running game up with the passing game. The play-action game is where it's at. So for Levante David, you have to have your eyes in the right spot. You can't overreact to some of the stuff that they're trying to do inside. And then obviously, when they do get on the edges with the football, whether it's in the running game or in the pass game, Levante David, downhill, making tackles. Cannot miss tackles against this unit. They can go after contact, after catch, very far. So Levante David's got to wrap him up and get him down.
I'm going to go with a guy that we call a big dancing bear, and that's Vita Vea. That's because he's 6'4", 350 pounds, but he moves like he's 250 pounds. He's going to be so pivotal in slowing down this Atlanta rush offense. We talked about it earlier, Kyle, marrying that run game with the play-action pass. But Vita Vea isn't just a guy that stays at the line of scrimmage.
No.
Right, he can get after the passer. You see it right here. Look how he beats Mekhi Becton on the inside, gets up the field, and gets a big sack for this Tampa Bay Bucs. He's going to be pivotal because quarterbacks hate that internal pressure. We talked about Kirk Cousins coming off the Achilles injury. He doesn't move as well. He's going to be big to disrupt Kirk Cousins in this offense today.
Let's go to the other side of things. And Leger, you hit on this a little bit earlier with the Atlanta run game. And you look at Bijan Robinson. He only has 7 carries in the red zone this season. Only had 7 carries last week. You're focusing on that run game. What do they need to do?
In the words of the great Sandra Bullock from The Blind Side, run the dang ball. Like 15 carries? Are you serious? 15 carries in a game when your offense should be based off the run game. So Bijan Robinson, and I'm going to marriage it with Tyler Algier because to me, people tend to forget about Tyler Algier. He was a 1,000-yard back before Bijan Robinson got to the Atlanta Falcons. You see it right here. He gave them some juice last week running the football on that inside zone. So he is going to be pivotal. Kyle, you know this short week playbook is not going to be as vast. They're not going to put as much into the game plan. They're going to execute the run game. So Tyler Algier averaged 7.5 yards carrying the ball. You got to take some pressure off your quarterback, who is in his late 30s, coming off an Achilles injury. Run the football, and then on the defensive side, Matt Judon. You talked about the Atlanta Falcons struggling getting after the passer. He only has 1.5 sacks. The Atlanta Falcons only have 4 sacks total in the whole year. You got to be able to get after Baker Mayfield. I already talked about Luke Gedeke is going to be out this game. Justin School, who's come in to replace him, has really struggled. Matt Judon, they traded for you because of games like this. You have to affect the quarterback.
For me, I'm looking at Drake London, the wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, and I listened to him talk this week, and he really believes that they are very close to hitting on all cylinders offensively. Obviously, you talked about Algier and Robinson. I take some of the issue with taking volume away from Bijan, but if you're going to take volume away from Bijan, go ahead and throw the ball to Drake London. I love this guy. He gives Kirk Cousins that guy that's always open, and obviously there's a few players that he could throw to, but I think this is going to be a big week for Drake London in the division. You can see him there. He's all over the football field, outside, inside. He's a good guy against man and zone, and I really feel like Kirk Cousins should find him a lot.
Let's get into the picks. The Bucs, they're 1.5-point dogs on the road. And Leger, we showed the graphic already, but if it's the Falcons in prime time, it just screams the under.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm taking. The under. 13 straight primetime games. The Falcons, the under is hit. And then I know people are always saying Kirk Cousins struggles in primetime games. Well, if you look at the Bucs in the last 6, they're 1-5 against the spread in primetime games. So they have struggled in primetime games as well. So I'm going the under here, right? We talked about it, Kyle. Short week. Playbook isn't as vast. Divisional game. I believe this will be a low-scoring game. Give me the under in this game.
Short week. I'm thinking Kirk Cousins might be a little bit sore. Give me Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I just feel like I really like that group. They got moxie, and they're going to get after this Falcons football team.
So you're taking the Bucs to win this game. If that happens, do they run away with this division?
Ooh, I wouldn't say run away from the division. You've got a lot of football left to go, but it does kind of delineate who the big bro, little bro is in this relationship, which in the division means everything.
I will say this. Tampa Bay is dealing with the injury bug right now. We talked about Luke Gedeke behind Chris Godwin and also Mike Evans. Their number 3 and 4 receiver won't be in this game. Jalen McMillan will be out. Trey Palmer will be out. So they're dealing with a lot of injuries on a short week. So the Falcons, this is the perfect time to get the Bucs if you're going to get them.
I trust Baker more than I trust Kirk Cousins.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
I'll say it.
That's saying a lot.
Okay. Well, it should be interesting tonight. It's pretty much a toss-up in Atlanta between the Falcons and the Bucs. Pushing the pile every weekday. What did you guys push this morning?
Oh, this morning we were pushing a little preview of this Sunday's action. It was a lot of fun. We missed you today, Leger.
I know. We had a good show yesterday, though.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Real ball.
Leger on the show every Wednesday. Pete on the show every Tuesday. Kyle Long and Mike Renner every day